Nourish to flourish, feeding minds, boosting scores, and crushing food fears in middle school. Defining student food insecurity at Lindenwood University with the design thinking process presented by researcher Juliuna Garwood during the fall 2024 semester. The researcher used the design thinking process to address student food insecurities at Lindenwood University, St. Charles, Missouri. According to Tim Brown, president of IDEO, design thinking is a human-centered and collaborative approach to problem solving. Using the design mindset to solve complex problems, the design thinking process involves 5 key stages aimed at solving complex problems with a human-centered approach. The design thinking process involves 5 key stages aimed at solving complex problems with a human-centered approach. Number 1, empathize. Objective: to gain deep insight into the needs, emotions, and experiences of the target users. Activities include observations, interviews, surveys, empathy maps. Examples include observing how food insecurity impacts middle school students, academic focus, and emotional health. Number 2, define. Objective: clearly articulate the problem based on user needs and insights from the emphasize stage. Activities include synthesizing data from observation, developing problem statements or how might we questions, identifying core user challenges. Examples include how might we ensure middle school students have access to nutritious meals to support their academic success. 3, ideate. Objective: brainstorm creative solutions to address the defined problems. Activities include brainstorming sessions, sketching solutions, mind mapping. Examples include generating ideas such as school programs, food banks, or community partnerships to combat food insecurity. 4, prototype. Objective: create tangible representations of the solution to test and refine ideas. Activities include building low-fidelity prototypes. Examples: mock-ups, models, or outlines. Visualizing the solution, iterating based on feedback. Examples include developing a prototype of an app that tracks meal availability or a system for discrete food distribution in schools. 5, test. Objective: evaluate the effectiveness of the prototype and refine based on feedback. Activities include conducting user tests, gathering qualitative and quantitative feedback, refining the solution iteratively. Examples include piloting a free meal program in a school and measuring improvements in student well-being and academic performance. The iterative nature of design is non-linear. Feedback from testing might prompt returning to earlier stages. Examples: refining the problem or ideating new solutions. The purpose of the presentation is to describe each stage of the design thinking process, demonstrate the researcher's comprehension of the design thinking process, and demonstrate the researcher's ability to write and present in a scholarly tone. The scholar practitioner created a literature review known as Appendix A. Food insecurity on middle school students learning food insecurity is prevalent in the United States, especially among school-aged children. The destructive consequences of food insecurity on cognitive development and academic performance are well documented. Green and Young, 2022. Middle school students are adversely affected, facing developmental changes compounded by inadequate access to nutritional food. The scholar practitioner researched and collected several sources and combined the current literature on food insecurity into a detailed literature review. The scholar practitioner used the sources in the review to explore the relationship between food insecurity and middle school students' academic outcomes, absenteeism, and the role of school meals program in mitigating the effects of food insecurity. According to Coleman Jensen et al. 2021, children experiencing food insecurity score lower on standardized tests and exhibit difficulty in maintaining constant academic progress. Green and Young, 2022, conducted a longitudinal study and revealed food insecure students performed lower on standardized tests and had lower grade point averages than peers. The researchers found food insecurities as a potential hindrance on academic performance in middle school students. The researchers in the study demonstrated a clear association between food insecurity and lower educational outcomes. The lack of consistent access to nutritious meals often leads to difficulties in concentration, cognitive delays, and decreased classroom engagement. Martinez et al. 2022 further corroborated the findings by demonstrating food insecurity and cognitive development critical during middle school when students develop foundational academic skills. The researchers emphasized food insecurity, immediate academic performance, and has had long-term implications on educational attainment. School meal programs such as the National School Lunch Program and the School Breakfast Program played a critical role in mitigating the effects of food insecurity. Forrestal et al. 2021 found that students from food insecure households were more likely to participate in school meal programs, contributing to improved diet quality and academic performance. Students who consumed meals through these programs had better concentration, higher levels, and improved cognitive function than those who did not participate, highlighting the importance of school meal programs in addressing food insecurity and supporting student learning. The researcher found programs are particularly beneficial for middle school students at critical developmental stage with high nutritional needs. Food insecurity has increased absenteeism among middle school students. Winnicke and Jemison, 2021, reported students from food insecure households were more likely to be absent from school, directly impacting their academic performance. Absenteeism due to food insecurity is often a result of poor health, lack of energy, and psychological distress, all of which can stem from inadequate nutrition. Livinger, 2022. The relationship between food insecurity and absenteeism is cyclical. Food insecure students are more likely to miss school, which in turn leads to lower academic performance and further educational disengagement. School meal programs, however, have shown to reduce absenteeism rates by ensuring that students have access to at least one nutritious meal per day, thereby improving their overall health and attendance. Forrestal et al. 2021. The scholar practitioner highlighted food insecurities consequences on middle school students' academic performance, cognitive development, and school attendance. While school meal programs offer some relief, food insecurity remains a critical barrier to student success, as the studies by Green and Young 2022, Martinez et al. 2022, Forrestal et al. 2021 demonstrate ensuring access to nutritious food is essential for fostering academic achievement and reducing educational disparities among food insecure students. Future research should continue to explore innovative solutions to address food insecurities in schools and ways to improve the efficacy of school meal programs in supporting student learning outcomes. The scholar practitioner created an empathy prep sheet. The empathy prep sheet looks at how will you introduce yourself and what are you doing? How will you establish rapport with the user? The rapport was established with the user by greeting and asking questions about the participant. The scholar's practitioner's goal was to make sure the participants felt comfortable. David Lee, the interviewer in the instructional video, recommended using welcoming body language as another way to build rapport and comfortability. Lee 2020. In addition to greeting the participant, an icebreaker question was chosen to break the ice and prepare the participant for the interview by building rapport. The scholar practitioner said the following: "Hello, thank you for meeting with me today. My name is Juliuna Garwood, and I am a doctoral student at Lindenwood University, researching food insecurity as my topic for my project. For this project to be a success, I am interviewing participants to get opinions and viewpoints on various possible solutions. My goal is to understand the various challenges food insecurity has on middle school students. I am grateful that you have agreed to participate in the interview, and I am excited to learn all about you and your experiences." The scholar practitioner interviewed the Director of Food Service at St. Louis Public Schools. Question 1. Before we begin, can you tell me a little bit about yourself? Question 2. Describe the way your school year is going. Question 3. What is your favorite part of being the food director for food services? Question 4. What if you were to win the lottery? What would you do? The scholar practitioner interviewed middle school teachers. Question 1. Before we begin, can you tell me a little bit about yourself? Question 2. Describe the way your school year is going. Question 3. What is your favorite part of being a teacher? Question 4. If you were to win the lottery, what would you do? The scholar practitioner also interviewed middle school principal. Question 1. Before we begin, can you tell me a little bit about yourself? Question 2. Describe the way your school year is going. Question 3. What is your favorite part of being an administrator? Question 4. If you were to win the lottery, what would you do? Thank you for sharing your experiences. We will now begin the interview. Please feel free to answer the questions any way you feel best. I am interested in your opinion. Empathy, Appendix B and C. What questions will you ask? Crystal Reaver, the student in the example video, recommended researchers to ask preferred future without problem questions. A defining question was also used to understand the participant's viewpoint toward the subject matter, Weaver 2022. Question 1, initial. What does it mean to be food insecure? Question 1, follow-up. Have you heard of the term before? Question 2, initial. If there was a magic eraser that erased food insecurity, what do you think that would look like at your school? Question 2, follow-up. What are the ways food insecurity can be erased? Question 3, have you seen food insecurity at the middle school level? Question 3, follow-up. If so, give an example. Question 4, how does food insecurity play a role in the learning process at school? Question 4, follow-up. Can you say more about your feelings toward being hungry at school? How will you end the interview? Question 1, initial. We have approached the end of the interview. Are there any other thoughts I might not have asked you? Question 1, follow-up. If so, what would you like to share? Thank you for participating in the interview. I appreciate you sharing your thoughts and opinions. If you have any questions or follow-up comments, please contact me at jcg159@lindenwood.edu. After interviewing users and end users, the Scholar practitioner created an empathy map to seek and categorize data collected during the observation. The data was categorized into 4 sections: think, does, says, and feels. These were expressions that the Scholar practitioner collected during the empathy stage. What did you learn during the empathy stage? During the empathy stage, the Scholar practitioner learned that food insecurity deeply affects middle school students. Thoughts, actions, words, and emotions. By observing them in the cafeteria, the Scholar practitioner gained insight into how students often worry about having enough food, which distracts them from their learning. Middle school students' behavior, such as rushing through meals or saving food for later, reflects a survival mindset. While their words reveal stress and concern about food excess, emotionally, students feel anxiety, embarrassment, and sometimes shame, which can lead to feelings of exclusion. During the empathy stage, the Scholar practitioner learned the critical connection between food insecurity and its negative effects on students' overall well-being and academic performance. The Scholar practitioners looked at emergent themes from the empathy stage of understanding food insecurity in middle school students. Number 1, anxiety and stress. Students constantly experience anxiety about where their next meal will come from, lending to a sense of insecurity affecting their emotional and mental well-being. Survival behavior. Middle school students' actions such as hoarding or rushing through meals highlight a survival mentality driven by food insecurity, which detracts from their focus on learning. Social stigma and embarrassment. feelings of embarrassment or marginalization emerge as students navigate the cafeteria, indicating that food insecurity can create social isolations or self-consciousness. The emotional and physical toll of food insecurity hinders students' ability to concentrate and perform well academically, linking nourishment directly to cognitive and behavioral outcomes. The emergent themes reflect a deep connection between food insecurity and its ripple effect on student learning, social experience, and emotional health. The scholar practitioner used the empathy process to look at data collection. The scholar practitioner gathered data through an observation of middle school students in the cafeteria during lunch, which provided firsthand insights into how food insecurity affected student behavior, thoughts, and emotions. Empathy mapping. After collecting the data, the scholar practitioner created an empathy map to organize and categorize information into 4 sections: what a student thinks, does, says, and feels. Empathy mapping allowed the scholar practitioner to look at students' perspectives holistically. Pattern recognition. The scholar practitioner reviewed the categorized data. The scholar practitioner looked for recurring patterns and behaviors students displayed or expressed. For example, common feelings of anxiety, observable behaviors like rushing meals, or statements related to food access stood out. The scholar practitioner grouped these patterns into broader categories that became emergent themes, which included anxiety and stress, survival behavior, social stigma, and problems on academic performance. Validation. Ensuring the accuracy and relevance of the themes, the scholar practitioner revisited the data, looking for consistency across several students and verifying themes reflecting on their experiences. Taking a systematic approach helped ensure that the themes were grounded in student lived experiences and captured the complexities of how food insecurities affect them. The scholar practitioner was assisted in the process by students and staff who participated in the food insecurity observation at Carlane Middle School. The school's cafeteria staff and teachers offered context about the students' behavior during lunchtime, which helped the scholar practitioner's understanding of the situation. The scholar practitioner relied on feedback from colleagues and Dr. Levitt, who provided insight on how to structure the empathy map and organize the data, which was crucial in refining the process of identifying patterns and validating emergent themes. The scholar's practitioner researched the problem of practice, which focused on food insecurity on middle school students' academic performance and overall well-being, exploring how the lack of reliable access to nutrition and food during the school day determined students' behavior, emotional health, and ability to focus on class. The researcher examined how teachers and staff can identify and address food insecurity to provide equitable education and support students more effectively. The scholar practitioner began with the brainstorming process. The scholar practitioner created an affinity map with stage 1, brainstorming of ideas, stage 2, posting of the ideas, Stage 3, look for those commonalities. And stage 4, grouping ideas. After the scholar practitioner developed stage 1 through 4, there were certain themes that came forth when dealing with food insecurities. Empathy and define. Appendix B, C, and D. The rosebud thorn concept is an additional design thinking method. When combined with the affinity mapping process, the researcher can get a clear picture of the problem and create a pen-pointed definition. Levitt 2024. The activity involves working with a team to group ideas into categories. Crawford 2018. Roses, problems. Buds, opportunities for growth. Thorns, working well. During the brainstorming, facilitation and duration. The brainstorming session lasted 1 hour. Ms. Garwood the design-based researcher facilitated the session, encouraging participants to generate ideas freely and quickly. The focus was on collecting as many ideas as possible without evaluation during the initial phase. Maintaining creative energy. Creative energy was maintained by introducing time rounds of idea generation and switching focus areas such as logistics, student engagement, and community partnership. Short breaks were included to help participants stay energized and ready for new rounds of brainstorming. The virtual setting allowed for effective collaboration through digital tools. The online platform supported real-time idea sharing. Although some technical challenges remained, the session maintained its momentum and participants remained engaged throughout. After the brainstorming, the number of novels and ideas generated. A total of 23 novels were generated during the session. These ideas range from practical solutions for food distribution to strategies aimed at reducing social stigma related to receiving free meals. Dynamics and themes. The ideas were organized into 3 thematic groups. Logistics and operations. Ideas focused on meal distribution methods such as grab-and-go stations and meal voucher systems. Community partnerships. This group emphasized partnerships with local farms and food banks to improve meal quality and access. Student engagement and awareness. Ideas included student-led campaigns and integrating food insecurity discussions into health classes. Ideas selected for prototypes. 3 ideas were selected for further development. Grab-and-go meal stations, a strategy for discreetly distributing meals to students. Local farm partnerships, collaboration with farms to provide nutritious food and educational opportunities related to healthy eating. Peer-led awareness campaigns, student-driven initiatives to raise awareness and reduce stigma around food insecurities. What went well? The diversity of the group contributed to a wide range of ideas. The use of Google Jamboard supported the collaborative process by allowing participants to contribute simultaneously. What could be improved? A pre-session tutorial on using the digital tool would have minimized technical disruptions. Additionally, more time could have been allocated for discussing and redefining ideas after the brainstorming phase. Ms. Garwood, design-based researcher, facilitated a productive brainstorming session that generated innovative solutions to address food insecurity among middle school students. The structured approach and use of technology help ensure a collaborative and creative process. The session produced actionable ideas for improving access to meals and reducing stigma, which can be further developed into prototypes. The scholar practitioner utilized the ideation phase of the design thinking process to evaluate and combine results to find ideas, solution themes, and categories. The ideation process included several ideation techniques such as the use of interactive mind map, brainstorming board, and reverse thinking. Most promising ideas: implement a snack time during the day, provide healthy snacks to students who receive free and reduced lunch, provide school provided family night dinners. Combined ideas: implement a snack during the day, providing healthy snacks to students who receive free and reduced lunch. Make note as well as those scholars or ideas you are able to immediately discard. Several ideas were discarded by the scholar practitioner. If the idea violated FERPA or did not lead to a realistic solution, the idea was not included in the solution list. Discarded ideas: offer therapy for students who receive free and reduced lunch, reconstruct the school master schedule, provide free and reduced lunch to families with grocery cards. Additionally, share how you feel about the ideation step of design thinking, of which methods covered in the class were most helpful to the scholar practitioner. The scholar practitioner enjoyed the ideation phase of the final project. The ideation phase allowed the most creative and encouraged collaboration with participants to find a solution to the problem. Some of the most helpful ideation methods used were the brainstorming board and the interactive mind map. Nourish to Flourish, Appendix G, Snacks and Dinner for Students, Initial Prototype Idea 1. Sample School Schedule: 6:30 a.m. to 7 a.m. breakfast, 7:15 a.m. to 8 a.m. would be period 1, 8:35 a.m. to 10 a.m. would be period 2, 10:05 to 10:30 would be snack, 10:35 to 12 p.m. would be period 3, 12:05 p.m. to 12:40 p.m. would be lunch, 12:45 p.m. to 2 p.m. would be period 4, 2:05 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. would be an after-school dinner. The scholar practitioner researched the relationship between healthy snacks and dinner for student achievement and behavior. The scholar practitioner described healthy snacks and dinner as fruits, vegetables, and cheese. Prototyping 2, Appendix H, Nourish to Flourish, Snacks and Dinner for Students, Prototype Idea Revised. Sample School Schedule: 6:30 a.m. to 7 a.m. would be breakfast, 7:15 to 8:30 would be period 1, 8:35 to 10 a.m. be period 2, and 10:05 to 10:30 would be snack, along with 10:35 to 12 p.m. Period 3 would be 12:05 to 12:40 would be lunch, 12:45 p.m. to 2 p.m. would be period 4, and 2:05 to 2:30 would be an after-school dinner. Nourish to Flourish, exploring the relationship between school schedule changes and academic performance. Research question: how does offering a revised school schedule, including breakfast, lunch, snack, and dinner to all students during the school day, correlate to student academic performance as measured by the English MAP scores? Null hypothesis statement: there will be no difference in academic performance pre-post receiving breakfast, lunch, snack, and dinner as measured by English MAP scores per day. The feedback received from classmates was insightful and prompted considerations on various logistical aspects of implementing a structured meal schedule. For example, Dr. Levitt raised questions about the necessary permissions and funding sources for additional food items, suggesting that the administration team and network superintendent would need to approve the changes with potential funding through in-kind donations from Community Food Bank Levitt's 2024. The researcher practitioner noted feedback which prompted a discussion on the approval process with the building principal, who confirmed that the proposal would need administrative and district level endorsements. The food bank support would provide additional food items as in-kind donations, forming a community partnership which aligns with Levitt's suggestions. Classmate Laura Newsom and Kyle Williams provided additional logistical considerations. Laura's questions addressed the schedule on start times and transportations, as well as location for snack time. The research practitioner explained that given the district's fluid bus schedule, addressing the start time would be challenging, so the current start time would remain unchanged. Newsom 2024. Snacks would be distributed in the classroom to avoid interrupting instruction and strategies practiced during COVID-19. Williams also raised potential concerns about staffing supervision, particularly regarding the distribution process, which the research practitioner confirmed would involve support staff and food service. Suggestions for an experiential prototype to test structural logistics could help refine the plan by addressing any real-time challenges in distribution and supervision. To test the proposed intervention, the researcher will undertake the following steps. 1. Designing the prototype schedule. Collaborate with school administrators to implement a revised daily schedule, incorporating breakfast, lunch, snack, and dinner. The schedule will ensure sufficient meal time while minimizing disruptions to instructional time. Participant recruitment and group formation. Identify participating schools, students, ensuring a representative sample for statistical validity. The researcher will implement a revised daily schedule incorporating breakfast, lunch, snack, and dinner in collaboration with school administrators. 3. Baseline data collection. Administer English MAP tests to all participants before the schedule implementation to establish baseline performance matrix. 4. Implementation and monitoring. Roll out the new schedule over a predetermined period, ensuring that meal provisions meet nutritional standards. Monitor adherence to the schedule and collect qualitative data on student and teacher experience. Post-intervention testing and analysis. Re-administer English MAP tests to measure changes in academic performance. Perform statistical analysis to evaluate the null hypothesis and identify significant differences between the intervention and control groups. 6. Iterative refinement. Based on findings, refine the schedule prototype and explore factors contributing to observed outcomes. The implementation plan spans 8 weeks, detailed in the table below.